Hi everyone, as you can tell the dark, no, I've had to turn the light down in here because it was flickering and it was doing my head in. So I didn't want that to be flickering whilst I was doing my Facebook Live this evening. But yeah, how are you all? Did you manage to survive Halloween? Did you bump into any scary ghosts or some random pumpkin sense if you saw my video last week that I put on my page? Anyway, I hope you've had a fantastic week. So it's quite interesting, this topic, because I was coaching somebody this morning and he's a male and he's had an amazing career. I mean, on paper, this career isn't fulfilling him anymore. And what he's coming to realise is that he's sort of pushed down for years and years and years this creative side of him. He's worked in the creative industries, but actually sort of pushed down some of his dreams to follow quite a traditional route in business, and it's been quite a realization for him. He's a grown up, he can look at doing other things with his career. So this is quite a timely video actually, and I'm firmly we're here on this earth to do more than kind of work and pay the bills. And actually, another spooky coincidence, I was on LinkedIn earlier today, and Microsoft, I think it's Microsoft, yeah, Microsoft, it might be in Japan, have actually gone down to a 4-day week, and that has boosted productivity across the board in their business. So isn't it interesting that our whole work lives seem to be factored around time, how much time you spend, rather than perhaps the output or the activity. I know not all industries and all jobs are the same. For example, if you work for Amazon as a delivery driver, you are very much measured on your productivity, how many parcels do you deliver in that time. And they're quite hard on people actually that don't meet quite strenuous targets. But in terms of like businesses measured on the time we spend at work and the time we spend on, but that's more about the numbers with it. But week and its boosted productivity suggests that we can be more productive and do other things with our time than we've been traditionally led to believe. And I firmly believe that, because in this modern day and time, some of us are working compressed hours, like out of 10 days. There's so many different ways to skin a cat. So it's a great time to really think about how you can sort of skin and slice and dice your career, because I think there's a lot more responsibility now for employers to consider employee well-being, and being happy at work is one of those. So this subject about how to change careers when you're perhaps a bit older and successful but you're unfulfilled is very timely. And I guess what I'm going to talk through is some mindset pieces you can think about, what may be holding you back, and how you can start to think about a change in your career. If you are feeling like, do you know what, I'm a really successful professional, I've got all this stuff on paper that looks good in my career, but I'm just not happy. Now, if it's just that something in your role at the moment isn't going right, then that's a different video. I think I've done loads of videos on that before, in terms of speaking to your boss, stepping up into your career, really sort of seeing where you can go with your role, building networks. I've done loads of videos on that before, in terms of improving your existing situation, because sometimes it is about improving our existing situation and making sure we're developing ourselves day by day. We're not relying on our manager, but we're taking an active role in improving our current situation. So this video is more about, that deep-seated, that sinking feeling. And I think, as I mentioned to my clients, sort of listen to your body language. When you talk about your job, are you like excited, or is it, do you know what, I'm really not sure about this, and you kind of have that heart sink feeling? I think that's a massive clue, and actually that can be really stressful, and being stressed over a continued period of time is really bad for our health, for our mental health, but our physical health as well. So I guess if you're feeling a bit resistant towards change and thinking, oh my God, I've followed this career path for ages and it's just not for me anymore, then you're in the right place. Wherever you are is in the right place for where you are now. Don't beat yourself up. We all sometimes follow jobs and career paths because we need financial security, because we're more focused on saving up for a wedding, bringing up kids. Perhaps you've had to take a job because we're getting divorced and we need some income. So please don't beat yourself up. Wherever you are now, it's the right time for you, because if you're watching this video and it's saying something to you, it means you're in that right frame of mind. You know, you might not have been 6 months ago, maybe you are now, maybe something's changed, or you've had more time to think about what you do want. You know, perhaps your business is going through a lot of changes and it's made you actually sit back and sort of rethink about your priorities and what you want, you know, rather than you know, just what the company wants you to do. So don't beat yourself up, okay? What I would say is some of the things that I really hear a lot about is beliefs. People will say, I'm not creative, I don't know what I want to do, I'm too old. Then if you want to stay happy and unfulfilled, then keep telling yourself those things, because you're basically programming your computer, i.e. your brain. And when you keep telling yourself these things in your brain, it implants itself. You know, like cookies, when you do, is it cookies or cash, whatever it is, I'm not a techie, things that sort of stick to your internet browser, or temp files on your computer that stick and clog up your computer and you have to defragment your hard drive. That's what your brain's like. The more you tell yourself that, the more these kind of like cookies are going to stick to you like they do to your computer. They're going to feed into the cells, your brain, your heart, your gut. We're all connected. It's all part of one system. So when you tell yourself this, I can't do this, I don't believe this, I can't do this, you are reprogramming that massive computer, i.e. your brain. Your brain is like plasticine, and it can be remolded and resculpted, and your brain doesn't know the difference between truth and fiction. So when you say, I don't know what I want to do, I can't do this, your brain goes, all right then, and it kind of activates that part of your brain that believes that to be true and will seek for more evidence of that being true. So first things first, think about what you're telling yourself. Think about affirmations and saying things to yourself such as, I'm moving closer to a career I love, I'm moving in a new direction. Whatever word feels comfortable, whatever word or phrase feels comfortable about I'm doing this, then tell yourself these things, because the longer you tell yourself what you don't want, the more you're going to get of it, because what we say on the inside is reflected in the outside world. You know, so we do have a certain amount of personal responsibility to lead ourselves from within. So don't beat yourself up, but start telling yourself really cool things that are empowering statements, such as, you know, you can even write them out every day. This does require work and effort, so you've got to be committed. It's like when you go to the gym, you've got to be committed to this stuff if you really want to improve your situation. So, yeah, telling yourself like, I am taking steps in the right direction, I'm moving towards a career of my dreams, I'm becoming clearer. Then start feeding your mind with these positive aspects of what could happen in your career, okay? So we spend about 90,000 hours at work. I'm sure some of you that have heard me speak have heard that before. And for me, that's a pretty long time to be unhappy. Now, as I said, don't beat yourself up, because we have things going on in life that means sometimes we can't always focus on our career. But sometimes frustration is a really good sign. It's a sign of progress. That might sound really weird, but all it is, if it's frustration, fed up, that's all it is a question that needs to be answered. And fear hates action. So think about the actions you can start to take success. Define what your perfect career looks like. Define what your ideal career looks like. If you don't know what that looks like, then find a coach, find a mentor. Have a look at kind of some common career themes that have popped up. Have you always had a job that's involved something creative? Have you always had a job that's meant you've had a high status? Have you always had a job or career that means you travel? Have you always had a role or career that means you can work at home? Have you always had a freelance career? So there'll be some themes there about what's important to you, like creativity, freedom, variety, those kind of things. Really think about what it is you want. And how about trying to write, you might not have all the details, write a LinkedIn job post as though you were recruiting for that job, the job that you want. See how much detail you can put on there. Salary, location, types of duties, team, kind of company, sector. If it's a freelance gig, write, if you want to be self-employed, write out your perfect freelance gig, write it. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be everything, you know, all the details, but as much as you can about where it's based, you know, sector, team, activities, job title if you want, or it's freelance, or what kind of gig it is. So really try and start to define what are some of the common themes in your career, and try and write a LinkedIn, like, recruitment ad for your own job. Why not recruit yourself, eh? And start thinking those positive beliefs, as I've said. So, as I said, you know, these frustrations, don't worry, you're not alone. We all have them. We're all working longer. God willing, we're all living longer. So we're asking ourselves questions that our parents didn't perhaps ask themselves. They didn't have the luxury. If your parents are my parents' age, they were kind of like coming out of World War II. I know, I don't look that old. But anyway, they were coming out of World War II, and they didn't have time to think about that. The country was rebuilding itself. We are in a fantastic position now. I know there's loads of stuff going on. I know that there's lots of corporate changes that are always going on, that the economy changes, got Brexit and all that malarkey going on. Don't let that affect you. Don't buy into that negative news cycle. Think about what it is you want from your life, not what you don't want. So we've talked about beliefs, feeding your mind with positive habits, positive phrases, not beating yourself up. You are in your life now, you are where you need to be. And see these frustrations as just questions that need to be answered, and really healthy sign that you're in the next phase of your life. You've got time to think about other things you may not have had the luxury of thinking about before. Write some key themes in your career. Write your LinkedIn job post. What would that look like? Or if it was a freelance gig, what would that look like? Or if you want to set up your own business and you wanted to recruit, I don't know, somebody into your business, or you wanted to apply for a grant or some funding, how would you describe your business? Maybe write a couple of paragraphs on that in terms of what you do, what services you provide, where you're based, the hours that you work, all of that stuff. Just kind of free flow, go with it, you know, relax, you know, get a journal, write it all down, because it stops it flying around in our head, you know. So this is about reinventing your career from the inside out. And let's not buy into those excuses of you're too old, you don't know what you want to do. Let's quash those beliefs, as I said from the outset, because I tell you, I am coaching people who are in their 20s and have had massive runaway, figure out how to lead the business into the next phase, or where to get more funding from if they need it. So that's young people that have got career issues, young people that have fallen into a career very, very early on. They've left education and they're in a role and it's like, I can't do this anymore. And those sometimes are people that have got children. They, perhaps haven't had the experience of any coaching or mentoring before. They've just realised there's something they need to do. I've worked with mothers who want to go back to work, or are just about to go back into the workplace and need that confidence. And successful on paper and career. And, changing your career does not mean you're unsuccessful. It means you're successful in recognising when there's time for change. Sometimes, if you've been embedded in a sector, you're wedded to it, you're part of your identities with it, it's going to take some time to unravel that. So that's where coaching, mentoring, careers advice can really, really help you. So there's never a right age, there's never a wrong age. I can't tell you how many people I know who are running successful businesses in their 50s and their 60s, because many of the people that I interact with are quite entrepreneurial, don't want to stop working. They want to do something meaningful with their lives, So it's never the wrong age, it's never the right age. So just kind of be kind to yourself, And if somebody says to you, oh, well, you never know what you want to do, or it's too old, or what do you think you're doing? You're so secure. Don't buy into that. That's their viewpoint of the world. Don't sort of follow your own path rather than somebody else's. I always say kind of be the pilot, not the passenger. That's one of my catchphrases. So be the pilot in your own career rather than relying on other people. And just think about, if you stay where you are now and you're fed up in your career, if I phone you up in 2 years' time and you're still in the same position, still not having made any changes, how are you going to feel? Imagine yourself 2 years from now doing what you would love to do, and use that for some of the exercises I've recommended. But also think about, if I phone you in 2 years' time and you're still stuck in the same place, what's going to feel more uncomfortable? Would it be the missed opportunities to have done something while the energy was there, while the impetus was there? It is scary. Don't get me wrong, you know, I've been freelance, I'm self-employed, I've done contracting, I do all sorts of things. Sometimes it is a bit scary, but during those times of uncertainty, those are actually really fantastic times for growth as well. So just think about, what's it really going to cost you if you look back in 2 years' time and think, do you know what, I had a great opportunity there and I didn't do anything about it. You know, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, I'm just trying to kind of open your eyes and make you realise that fear hates actions, so start taking some actions. I mean, it just amazes me, because sometimes I think we treat our career like it's something over there. It's something over there, you know, I'll worry about it later. And I'm sure we've all got different areas of our life that we treat like that. Oh, it's outside of me, it's over there. Well, it's not. Your career is part of who you are, the decisions you've made, the decisions you haven't made. And actually, I'm a real believer in self-leadership, in sort of inventing, reinventing, rebooting your career from the inside out. I know that things happen to us in life. I know that things happen like redundancies. You know, we have children, we have life changes, we may have divorce, we may have to look after elderly parents, we might have financial tough times. I know sometimes we have to sometimes be very resilient and just deal with those difficult situations, and sometimes that doesn't allow us the mental freedom to explore what we want. But hopefully during those difficult times, you'll be thinking about, actually, my life is too important to waste on something I don't want to do. So yes, by all means, get through the difficult times, but don't allow that to hold you back. Allow that to be fuel for growth and determination to say, do you know what, I want something different for my career, or I want to improve my current career situation where it is now. Because I don't want you to look back and think, oh, I wish I'd done that before. And it's funny actually, because the universe, I know that's quite spiritual, let's just say life, if you don't like the word universe, has a funny way of dishing up lessons for us time and again. So, not in a punitive way, but I was about to go freelancing for the first time in my life, and I didn't. And against my gut feeling and better judgment, I took a job, great money, and actually, to be fair, it was great experience. It was doing things that I hadn't done before, but it was a real weighing up job. And I said to myself, I'm going to stay in this job 3 years and then I'm definitely going freelancing. And guess what happened? 3 years to the day, I got made redundant. And that was, I don't know, you just can't write this stuff, can you? I mean, who would, it was literally 3 years to the day. I'd actually put it out there and manifested it or created it in some way or attracted that experience to me. So it's really interesting, because I just thought, yeah, this is like, I just keep getting all these signs that it's time for me, when I first went self-employed, to go self-employed. So I don't know if you've ever had anything like that, where it's like, yeah, there's something, there's a lesson being served up to me here. Not in a punitive way, but just in a way that helps you to the next phase in your career. So I've covered quite a few different areas tonight, and I've probably veered around a bit tonight. I've kind of made some notes, but not stuck to them at all, as usual. But what I want you to really start thinking about is that your career is not something over there. It's a part of you. It's a part of your happiness, like being in a loving relationship. Isn't it wonderful when it's great and it fuels you and feeds you? Your career's like that. These are all different sort of cogs in our life, cogs on the wheel that make things turn. And if one cog's a bit wonky, the wheels fall off. So let's fix that cog if it's not right and get things working on a more even keel. And, you know, listen to your gut instinct. When you talk about your job, how do you feel? Do you feel energized? Or do you feel like, oh my God? If it's your current role, what can you do to improve it now? Don't be passive about things. You are there as an employee. You've got a boss. Have a two-way adult conversation about how you can improve your role. And I mentioned a few things you can do at the beginning of this video, and I've done a few videos on that before. If you're feeling unhappy, try thinking about writing the LinkedIn job description that I mentioned earlier. Or if you want to set up your own business, write a funding letter as though you were asking for funding for your new venture. What would that look like? What will you be doing? Where will it be? What services are you offering? And what else did I say? Yeah, don't forget, as I mentioned, I'm coaching people of all ages that are going through career changes, because life's like that. We're working longer, we're living longer, God willing, and you know, we're experiencing different changes in our lives that give us cause to think about our careers. Maybe, you know, that our parents or grandparents didn't really have the luxury of thinking about that. They were just trying to survive. But, you know, the most important thing is feeding your mind with positive affirmations, positive statements, and really believing that you're on the right path, that this is just setbacks, problems, frustrations. It's just a question that needs to be answered. Before you go to bed, think about, what is it I want? See if anything comes up overnight, but do please write out positive statements and tell yourself positive things such as, I have a lot to offer, I'm becoming clearer about my career, I'm moving towards my new direction. Because the more that you do that, the more that you're kind of like activating your brain to seek out signs and signals that you might be walking past. I mean, I've heard of people saying, do you know what, Sarah, when we had a coaching session, you told me to go and have a look at LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. And there's a whole sector that I didn't realise existed, and I really, really am interested in it. And because they've activated that part of their brain starts noticing these things. So when you rewire your mindset, it's like building your muscles at the gym, and rewiring your computer. It will really help you align and find clues along the way that might give you an indication of what you want to do. So you're never too old. You're never too successful to reinvent your career. Let's face it, it's a nice problem to have. And if you've been made redundant with a nice bit of ka-ching behind you, go for it. And just think about, you know, how you'd feel in a few years' time if you didn't make the change that you wanted to. Career is a part of us. You know, I don't feel we should always identify by job titles or money or things like that. For some people that is important, and there's no judgment on that if that's important to you. But it's about fulfillment, isn't it? Isn't it about enjoying life and being happy? And how can you do that when you're tolerating a job that you really can't stand and you're dreading going into work? We're here to do more than that, and I'm pretty sure you are as well, and that's why you're watching this video. So anyway, I hope that's been some top tips for you again on this beautiful, what is it, Tuesday evening, this dark Tuesday evening. And I look forward to seeing you on a future video. By all means, feel free to share, feel free to comment, feel free to get in touch and let me know what other subjects you'd like me to tackle whilst I focus on careers. I do also offer team coaching, executive coaching, and I don't really, haven't really focused on it too much, but I'm a law of attraction coach as well. So if there's anything you want to ask me about the law of attraction, I'm a master practitioner. So please let me know if there's any subject you want me to cover on that area as well, and I'm happy to do it. Leave me some comments, send me questions if you feel shy about putting it on the page. And I do also have a free private Facebook group. It's called Catapult Your Career, and it's, if you search it, you can request to join, and on there I put advice and guidance that you don't get anywhere else. So anyway, don't forget, it's never too late. There's always time to make incremental changes or wholesale changes in your career. Career is part of us. It's not something outside of us. We spend an awful lot of time at work, and yeah, we all want to be happy and fulfilled in what we're doing. So go for it. All right then, have a good one. Bye.